Welcome to Dark Radio. Tonight, we delve into one of Hollywood's most infamous and chilling mysteries, the tragic story of Elizabeth Short, known to the world as the Black Dahlia. A young woman with dreams of fame, a future full of hope, and an unyielding desire for recognition, brutally cut short in a crime so horrific that it shook Los Angeles to its core. Her body was bisected, her smile frozen, and her eyes staring into the void, a scene no one who witnessed it could ever forget. This is not just a story of death, it is a story of obsession, darkness, and the terrifying reality that evil often hides behind the most innocent of faces. Join Dark Radio as we uncover the life, the tragedy, and the unsolved horror of the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short was born in Boston, Massachusetts, in 1924, into a family marked by instability and hardship. Her early childhood was a mixture of fleeting joy and profound disruption. Her parents divorced when she was very young, and her mother remarried several times. The family moved frequently, forcing Elizabeth to adapt to new homes, new environments, and new people. These early experiences left a deep impression, shaping her sensitive, trusting, yet determined nature. From an early age, Elizabeth displayed remarkable charm and intelligence. She had bright, expressive eyes and an outgoing, vivacious personality, always trying to stand out in any crowd. Despite growing up with limited means, she developed a fascination with beauty, fashion, and presentation. Childhood photographs reveal a girl who, even in modest circumstances, understood how to pose, smile, and make herself seen. Her teenage years were spent navigating family turmoil and complex social dynamics. With her mother marrying and divorcing repeatedly, Elizabeth often lived with distant stepfathers, sometimes receiving little attention or guidance. These experiences contributed to a personality that was simultaneously yearning for affection and wary of betrayal, sensitive yet determined to seek a better life beyond the confines of her troubled upbringing. As she entered adolescence, Elizabeth's imagination turned toward a future far from the instability she had known. Hollywood, with its glamour and promise of fame, became her dreamscape. She spent hours watching films, studying the stars, and envisioning herself in that world of lights and accolades. The idea of being recognized, admired, and celebrated fueled her ambition and gave her life direction amidst the chaos of her youth. By the time she reached adulthood, Elizabeth began leaving Boston, searching for opportunity and independence. She traveled to Florida, meeting various people along the way, including a young naval pilot whom she trusted and had envisioned a future with. Tragically, he died in the war, leaving Elizabeth to confront loss and abandonment for the first time. This early heartbreak added layers of vulnerability, but also a determination to persist despite life's cruelties. Eventually, Elizabeth made her way to California, hoping to chase the Hollywood dream. Los Angeles in the 1940s was a city of contrasts, dazzling studio lights and crowds of hopefuls on the streets, but also lurking dangers, crime, and dark, deserted alleys. Elizabeth, with her striking appearance and confident demeanor, quickly attracted attention, yet she remained a young, vulnerable woman with little familial protection. In her wandering life, Elizabeth took temporary jobs, waiting tables, housekeeping, sometimes relying on friends or strangers for support. Yet no matter her circumstances, she maintained her polished appearance, meticulously styled hair, bright red lipstick, and fashionable clothing, as if she already belonged to the world of stars she dreamed of, even though reality was far harsher. Elizabeth also frequented bars and clubs, places where she drew notice for her beauty and magnetic personality. Yet these social spaces concealed dangers, predatory men, fleeting relationships, and the risk of being taken advantage of. She yearned for connection and recognition while pursuing her Hollywood ambitions, but her trusting nature and limited life experience left her fragile in the face of lurking threats. Part 1 concludes with Elizabeth Short at age 22, wandering the streets of Los Angeles, carrying with her a radiant dream of fame, yet burdened by loneliness, past wounds, and a path leading unknowingly into the darkness that fate had set before her. This is the opening chapter of the Black Dahlia tragedy, setting the stage for the horrifying mystery of her death and the relentless search for her killer. When Elizabeth Short arrived in Los Angeles, she carried with her a luggage filled with ambition, bright dreams, and a deep loneliness rooted in her troubled childhood. The city was dazzling with lights, full of opportunity, yet equally rife with hidden dangers. Every street, every bar, every studio shimmer promised a future of glory but simultaneously concealed the shadows of threat and deceit. Elizabeth began seeking temporary work, just enough to sustain herself while chasing her Hollywood dreams, waitressing at diners, housekeeping in boarding houses, and taking on other odd jobs. Regardless of her circumstances, she maintained a polished and elegant appearance, with carefully styled hair, bright lipstick, and fashionable clothing. Every day seemed like a stage for her, a chance to be noticed, to be admired. This presence made her stand out among the crowds, drawing attention and admiration, but also exposing her to potential predators. Over time, Elizabeth expanded her social circle. She met many people within the entertainment world, young men, sailors, and other hopefuls striving for recognition. Some treated her kindly, offering friendship or guidance in navigating Los Angeles' complex social landscape. Others sought to exploit her trust and naivety. Elizabeth gradually learned to balance trust with caution, yet her youth and yearning for love often made her vulnerable to manipulation. She frequented bars, clubs, and social gatherings, leaving a lasting impression with her striking beauty and magnetic personality. Hollywood, in Elizabeth's eyes, was not only a place of glamour and prestige, it was a pathway to recognition, a means to transform her loneliness into power. Yet, within this dazzling world lurked danger, and every new acquaintance carried potential risk. Elizabeth began to envision a true career in film. She practiced her posture, gestures, and poses, studying the stars she admired. Every photograph, every public appearance was a step closer to her dream, but simultaneously, she was navigating a perilous world, where malicious intent could strike at any moment. During her time in Los Angeles, Elizabeth met many men. Some were brief encounters, others appeared trustworthy, providing companionship and emotional connection. Yet her inexperience and longing for affection made it difficult to distinguish genuine intentions from opportunistic behavior. This naivety inadvertently placed her in precarious situations, setting the stage for the tragic events that would follow. Elizabeth's psychological landscape evolved as she navigated life in Los Angeles. She was strong and determined to pursue her dreams, yet deeply affected by loneliness and the pressures of survival. Each day presented new challenges, tests, and hidden dangers, but she persisted, holding on to the hope of fame and recognition. This period was crucial in shaping her character, preparing her for the impending dangers, and inadvertently setting the path toward the horrific fate that awaited her. Part 2 concludes with an image of Elizabeth wandering the streets of Los Angeles, a young woman brimming with ambition, stepping between light and shadow, dreaming of stardom while confronting unseen threats. This phase marks the critical preparation for the Black Dahlia tragedy, where she would ultimately become the victim of one of the most horrifying and infamous crimes in Hollywood history. Life in Los Angeles for Elizabeth Short was not only about dazzling lights and the Hollywood dream. Beneath the neon glow, the city concealed shadows filled with lurking predators. Elizabeth, with her striking beauty and confident demeanor, stood out in every crowd, but it was this very prominence that made her vulnerable, a target for exploitation and potential threats. During her first weeks and months in Los Angeles, Elizabeth encountered men with varied intentions. Some sought only to take advantage of her youth and beauty. Others offered attention and companionship, yet concealed dangerous motives beneath a facade of charm. She also frequented bars, nightclubs, and social gatherings, spaces where music and lights masked the lurking dangers. These venues, though full of opportunity, were rife with those who could turn her dreams into nightmares. Elizabeth received invitations to private outings, to apartments or secluded locations. Though cautious, her naivety and longing for affection sometimes led her to overlook warning signs. Gradually, these experiences created a tense and dangerous environment around her. She wanted to explore, to engage with the city, yet remained unprepared to recognize the full spectrum of threats that shadowed her. Not only relationships but everyday life itself began to carry signs of danger. Elizabeth wandered dark streets at night to attend auditions or meet acquaintances, unaware of the watchful eyes tracking her from the shadows. She began sensing the fragility and risks surrounding her, yet not enough to prevent her from stepping deeper into the potential dangers that awaited. At the same time, she continued immersing herself in the entertainment world, striving to impress casting directors, industry figures, and peers. Every event, every encounter was a step closer to her Hollywood dream but simultaneously a step deeper into potential peril. Small details, a stranger's gaze, a vague invitation, a man following her, became ominous signals that Elizabeth had yet to recognize fully. The sense of being observed and the pressures of the new environment began affecting her psyche. She had to balance the desire to shine and achieve recognition with the need to protect herself in a world filled with opportunists. Every move, every choice carried risk, and her relentless pursuit of fame sometimes blinded her to the shadows lurking around her. Part 3 concludes with the image of Elizabeth walking the streets of Los Angeles at night, a young woman full of ambition, confidence, yet fragile, unknowingly moving closer to the tragedy fate had prepared. The ominous signs had begun to surround her, the dangers were imminent, and the stage for the Black Dahlia case was quietly being set. As Elizabeth Short continued her life in Los Angeles, the threats around her were no longer vague signals, they became increasingly tangible in her daily existence. The young woman remained determined to pursue her Hollywood dreams, but the world around her was filled with opportunists, dangerous invitations, and relationships fraught with hidden risks. During this period, Elizabeth met various men. Some appeared friendly but sought to manipulate or exploit her. Others showed concern, yet harbored dark motives beneath their charm. Elizabeth began to realize that not every relationship was genuine, but her youth and longing for affection still made her vulnerable to deception. She frequently attended parties, bars, and social gatherings. Each appearance showcased her striking beauty, confident demeanor, and ability to leave a lasting impression. Yet, simultaneously, malevolent eyes were observing, unusual invitations appeared, and warning signs became more pronounced. The young woman walked amidst the glamorous lights, unaware that shadows were constantly lurking around her. Certain incidents made the danger undeniable. Men following her, strange late-night phone calls, cryptic messages from unknown sources, and subtle behaviors indicating surveillance. Despite her efforts to remain composed, the continuous pressure from her environment and these emerging threats took a toll on her psychological state, instilling stress and unease. Beyond personal relationships, Elizabeth's professional life was also filled with volatility. She continued attending auditions, meeting industry professionals, and striving to impress influential figures. But within this seemingly glamorous world, danger was omnipresent. Powerful individuals could exploit her, opportunists could manipulate her, and the line between opportunity and peril was razor-thin. Elizabeth's mental state faced increasing strain. She had to maintain her bright, appealing image while simultaneously protecting herself from real threats. Every decision, every step could be a move toward her dream or a step into danger. The dazzling lights of Hollywood concealed lurking shadows, and Elizabeth had yet to realize that the next steps she took could lead directly into tragedy. Part 4 concludes with Elizabeth confidently walking the streets of Los Angeles, attending parties, meeting new acquaintances, and dreaming of fame, yet surrounded by ever-clearer signs of danger. This is the moment when the Black Dahlia tragedy was on the verge of unfolding, though Elizabeth remained unaware of the looming, horrifying threat lurking in the shadows. Elizabeth Short's life in Los Angeles had entered an increasingly tense stage. The young woman continued to chase her Hollywood dreams, but the shadows surrounding her grew darker and more threatening. Personal relationships and career opportunities were now intertwined with direct risks, predators closing in, and warning signs impossible to ignore. Elizabeth continued meeting various men throughout Los Angeles society. Some appeared friendly but were in fact intent on manipulation, exploiting her youth, beauty, and trusting nature. Others feigned care, yet harbored hidden, dark motives. She had yet to realize that any relationship could turn into a trap, and her inexperience combined with her desire for affection left her vulnerable. The young woman attended numerous parties, met industry figures, and made new acquaintances. Each appearance drew attention. Her confident demeanor and striking beauty made her shine. But simultaneously, suspicious eyes followed her, odd invitations appeared, and subtle warnings grew more frequent. The signs of danger were no longer ambiguous, they were now present before her eyes, but Elizabeth remained unaware of the severity of the threat. Several incidents highlighted the immediate danger surrounding her: invitations from unknown men to spend time alone, being followed on the streets, and receiving strange phone calls or messages late at night. Despite her cautious nature, these experiences placed her in situations of imminent risk. Her desire to be noticed, to be cared for, sometimes led her to overlook obvious warning signs. Alongside personal relationships, her career pursuits and auditions played a critical role. Each opportunity to appear in the industry was a step closer to her dream, but also a step into a hazardous environment. Those in positions of power, opportunistic individuals, and curious eyes constantly observed her. Hollywood at the time was glamorous yet merciless, and Elizabeth lacked the experience to fully recognize all the dangers surrounding her. The pressure and stress on her psyche intensified. She had to balance the need to stand out with the need to protect herself, to pursue her dreams while avoiding danger. Every step, every decision could be a potential opportunity or a perilous trap. Her longing for fame and affection unknowingly led her deeper into the lurking threats. Part 5 concludes with Elizabeth walking the streets of Los Angeles, dreaming of Hollywood's lights and recognition, yet surrounded by increasingly direct and visible dangers. This is the critical moment leading up to the Black Dahlia tragedy, where every step the young woman took brought her closer to an unavoidable and horrifying fate. The fateful day arrived for Elizabeth Short. The young woman, still dreaming of Hollywood's lights, walking the streets of Los Angeles full of opportunities and dangers, had no idea that each step had brought her closer to the most horrifying tragedy. The warning signs she ignored, the dangerous encounters she had, and her inexperience combined with her longing for affection and fame, now became brutally unforgiving. Elizabeth's death was not merely a murder, it was a cruel tragedy that shocked all of Los Angeles. Her body was discovered in a vacant lot, grotesquely severed in half, her face frozen in a haunting expression, eyes wide open in terror. The crime scene revealed a level of brutality beyond imagination, a meticulously planned act shrouded in mystery and leaving investigators baffled. The police immediately launched a major investigation, yet faced an extraordinary challenge. Minimal clues, no reliable witnesses, and a sprawling city where the perpetrator could vanish without a trace. Details from the crime scene, traces, and ambiguous leads were insufficient to quickly identify the culprit. The case became one of the most infamous and perplexing in Hollywood history, haunting the public and the media alike. The people of Los Angeles were horrified by the sheer savagery of the crime. Images, descriptions, and stories of the victim spread throughout the city, turning the name the Black Dahlia into a symbol of tragedy, darkness, and latent danger. Elizabeth's story was more than a case. It was a warning that evil could strike unexpectedly, hiding behind seemingly ordinary faces. Elizabeth's family, friends, and admirers were left in shock and overwhelming grief. The loss was not only of a young woman with dreams and potential, but also of a bright future, cruelly erased. They faced the grim reality that the killer remained at large, and justice seemed distant, leaving only helplessness and fear in its wake. The Black Dahlia case became an emblem of unresolved crimes, missing persons, and the hidden cruelty within life itself. It forced the city of Los Angeles to confront the harsh truth that even under the glamorous lights of Hollywood, darkness always exists, ready to consume innocent dreams and lives. If the shadows of this story unsettled you, you're not alone. Evil often hides behind the most ordinary faces. Subscribe to Dark Radio for more real-life darkness brought into the light. And remember, justice may sleep, but it never dies.